Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to episode 25 of In the Red Corner. Quarter of a century, we've made it. On this week's episode, we'll take a look at Liverpool and United's week, skipping on right past the 9-0 win this morning. We don't need to talk about that too much.
Nope.
And we'll also have a look at the UFC card this weekend, headlined by Alastair Overeem and Volkov in Las Vegas. If that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with us for the next hour or so, and give us a like and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on any other content. Joining me as always to wander through the myriad of stuff going on this week, Mr. Grant Winstanley. How are we, Captain?
Awesome, mate. What, we're going to get into it a bit more, but a 9-0 to start off, for us in Australia, off the working day, it just sets up the day perfect, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So, to answer your question, I'm fantastic at the moment. How are you going?
I'm all right. I could have done without that to start my Wednesday. But, all things considered, things are going well.
That's good, mate. Well, before we get into that, we always start with an opening question. And the question I've got for you today, Matt, is, deadline day, transfer window, the door has slammed shut. But did anything surprise you in the window, or anything, that you wasn't expecting?
I was hoping we were going to get some defenders in, and it was looking very unlikely as it got down to, we literally left it till the 11th hour, literally. So that was pleasantly surprising that we did get that over the line. I think the big surprise for me and from a Liverpool perspective was Taki Minamino going the other way. I didn't think we'd be selling anybody in the window, especially with the way the squad is at the minute and how we've had to handle injuries.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have thought you'd want to decrease the squad, but I'm guessing. Firstly, we probably owed Southampton a couple of favours because we've decimated their squad in the past. I read yesterday someone said Minamino must have just realised the only way he's going to get a game for Liverpool is by playing for Southampton first. That was very good. Yeah. So I was surprised about that. I didn't think we'd see him going, but the good thing about it is it's showing us Klopp's kind of ruthless side. Yeah. Everyone thinks he's a bit of a soft touch, or he can be, and he's pally with the players. But if you're not delivering or you're not able to play the way he wants to play, he's showing in this instance that if you surplus the requirements, he will move you on, which is what he's done here. Cause I think Minamino, he's not really had a chance, has he? But which suggests to me that he's not doing in training what is required to be in that front three, because he's had ample opportunity here with Firmino's had a bit of a rough patches in the season. If he'd been on his game, Minamino, you think he'd have got into that side, and he didn't. So, good luck to him. It's only a loan. Hopefully he goes there, gets more regular first team football. Did he play this morning? I'm assuming he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No,
he wasn't in the squad.
Imagine that for your debut, 9-0 defeat. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, so I'm hoping he gets some game time there and comes back to us maybe more the complete package or Premier League ready, maybe. What about yourself? Anything interest you?
Well, just to finish off on Minamino there, does it surprise you that, I know obviously you added him fairly recently in terms of the squad, and maybe it's a positional thing, but I'm still surprised that as the windows go on, Origi still kind of survives, and I think I feel that Ings, Sturridge, some decent attackers that you've had that have always been that kind of fringe for you guys, and yet somehow it's similar to Phil Jones with United. Somehow he survives another window. Does that surprise you? Or?
It is a bit. We'll be having this conversation in 5 years' time, and he'll still be there on the bench making the cameo appearances. I don't know. I think he's a good option to have off the bench. He's probably not costing us a lot of money.
Yeah.
No one's really come in for him. I don't, with a serious offer. I think it's, unless you're going to get decent money for him, it's worth just keeping him on the bench, isn't it? Keeping him around the squad. Maybe he's good around the squad, and he does offer you something different. He's a bit of a cult hero, he scored important goals for us, hasn't he?
Probably his last goal, actually.
Probably was, the Champions League finals.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I can't even think. But I'm not surprised he's still here. Like I say, I think he's just a good squad player that's not costing us an arm and a leg. If there was a serious offer that came in for him, if someone offered decent money, I'm sure we'd let him go. Until that happens, we'll probably have to keep hold of him.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Well, I'd say one of the big surprises for me actually came in the form of West Ham. They sold Haller early in the window, and I can't believe they've not brought a striker in, because they play it like the starting striker is Antonio, who is not a striker.
And he's never fit.
He's never fit. He has injury concerns. Where's the other option? And I look at it now and I think, you know, my first priority would be someone like, see if you could nick Olivier Giroud from Chelsea. He would do great for West Ham.
Chelsea have got surplus players, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like I said
Abraham,
last week.
Werner, you know, all them
Trim the
attackers.
fat
And,
there.
you know, new manager coming in. You don't know if he's in favour or not.
Yeah, right.
So, Giroud. Diego Costa doesn't have a contract. Not to say they could get Diego Costa, but it's London.
As if he's doing anything Moyes tells him to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, it's London.
Yeah,
but the other one for me, which was an 11th hour deal, was Josh King going to Everton. Now,
Yeah,
I think Josh
isn't it?
King is perfect for West Ham and the way they play.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect signing for him. And
Does it just come down to money again? Is it just no
Well-
money in the coffers? Oh, they sold what's his face.
They sold
didn't
Hall
they?
for like 20 million or something.
Yeah.
And I think Everton's paid like a couple of million loan or
Yeah.
something like that. Or, I mean, we're talking like, you know, 4 or 5 million.
It's surprising in the sense that they're doing all right,
I know.
you know, and you want to keep up that momentum.
Yeah. But if they get a couple of injuries and there's like, there's no options, and then suddenly they start to fall down the ladder a bit, it'll be a bit, oh, well, what could have been? And it's like, well, you did have a window.
Yeah.
You did sell a striker that you bought for good money.
Yeah. You got to have the back room that's going to back you in those moments where, you know, Moyes can turn to and be like, look where we are, look where we are this season. It could easily go by the wayside. You know, we need to capitalise on it now while we can. They might regret that decision come the end of the season if they're not still there or thereabouts.
I think King's a good option for Everton. I think off the bench, can play wide. He can, you know, because I know there's been times this season when DCL's missed a game. Richarlison, James, you know, there's a couple of injuries there, and he can slot in wide or play in number 10, or he can play up front. So I think it's a good signing.
It's a good season to have a good striker, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've seen these mad results, and we'll move on to the 9-0 in a minute. But you know, Liverpool have had a 7-0. City have had a couple of 5s. Yeah. It seems to be that type of season where teams can be on it, but they can be really off it as well.
Yeah.
And
we got done 6-1, and you got done 7-2 in the same
I was
day on the same
day.
day.
You're right, and it seems like one of those seasons. If you've got some firepower up front on your day, you can really take the cake almost, and those goal difference start to make all the difference, especially in seasons like this where I think it will be a bit close. Come the end of the season for getting in that top 4 for winning the league.
Yeah,
having a good striker who's on form,
and with VAR, when it comes down to literally inches and fingertips and all this stuff, where if someone knows where to stand, you know, or a good penalty taker.
Yeah, penalty taker is massive this season, isn't it?
This is the season to get someone that is clinical. Yeah,
no, I agree. Well, I guess speaking of loads of goals, we probably should talk about this morning. I'll start it by saying I didn't watch the game. I got up early, I went for a swim. I came back and I looked at my phone just to check the score. And it was early on. It was 2-0 and Southampton were a man down. And I immediately just thought, for fuck's sake. I had a feeling it was going to go this way. Any early sending off like that can completely change the game, can completely change the mentality of the team. Your head falls off. Is that what happened? Did their heads fall to bits? Or were you exceptionally good?
We were good, but when you have a man sent off after 2 minutes, I mean, this lad I think it was his second senior debut, you know, second game, or it might be his first game. I don't know how old he is, but he's obviously a young kid, playing in central midfield, away at United, you know. There are already a few people down in terms of first 11 anyway, so, you know, it was just crazy. I mean, you know, it's a bit of the way, if no one's seen it, I'll describe it as I'll describe it as the Chinese greeting, because it wasn't a knee how, it was a knee high tackle. That's what it was. It was, you know, first 2 minutes madness, red card straight away. You know, you can tell that Southampton thought, oh God, if the challenge wasn't already big enough, mountain to climb, then we score a goal, and then it's kind of all us then, you know, then kind of 10 minutes later, we get a goal through Wan-Bissaka, and then get another one shortly, after that. It's 4-0 at half-time, and I'm thinking, I know what's going to happen here. Bruno, Rashford, Van der Beek will come on, they'll just rest some players and give some people legs, and it'll be a classic 4-0, and we'll down tools. Yeah. But the thing that I was most proud of Man United today, and Ole, is they actually went for the throat.
Right.
They showed ruthlessness, and they carried on.
I'd say that's probably the first time he's done that. He's not tried to overmanage a game. Yeah. He's just gone, fuck it.
Yeah, just
smash them to bits.
Exactly. And then it got to 6-0 with 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then, again, there's a soft penalty. Martial, one of them, leaves his leg, knows what he's doing, goes over, quite theatrical. Bednarak, last man, sends him off. They review it. I go, he's not going to give this. He's certainly not going to send him off. For 6-0, I think a bit of guilt and a bit of sympathy comes into a referee's mind, I would say, to go, just, you don't need it type of thing. But no. Mike Dean for you goes, yep, you can have one of them, and it's a penalty. We score, make it 7-0, and then sure enough, 2 minutes later, 8, and then 90th minute at 8-0. No, 93rd minute, 9-0. Thanks for coming.
It's almost just mean at that point, you're just throwing the towel.
Exactly. The old Simpsons, she's already dead meme of Ralph. But anyway, so great performance. Obviously, in Southampton, doing great this year. Obviously, they got beat by Leicester 9-0 at the end of 2019, if you remember.
Twice?
More or less in just over 12 months. But the good thing is for Southampton fans is you obviously kept with Ralph Hasenhüttl after that, and they went on a good run after that and sorted it out. So I wouldn't like to play Southampton next, actually. I don't know who they've got.
No, I don't know.
But if that's anything to go by, then Southampton will come back all guns blazing. But
it's rare that it happens to the same manager twice.
I know.
To get absolutely battered like that. But circumstances, early sendings off.
Exactly. And Ralph Hasenhüttl said the same thing. 90 minutes is long in the Premier League, and when you're defending with 10 men for literally the whole game,
and you've not quite got your first squad out as well,
exactly. And then you've got and then 10 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go, you lose another one. That suddenly it's 9 men. You're 7-0 down,
and it seems like United have decided to go for them because other teams might have gone like, right, let's just get some lads off. We've won this,
and I was surprised at that because. We've been banging on at this podcast about rotation and utilising your squad, but I was fully expecting Bruno off, but then Rashford came off on 60 minutes. He made 2 subs at half time. Martial came on. Thank God he weren't in the starting lineup. He scored.
Did he get 2?
2, yeah.
And that's
then,
how bad they were. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. He scored, and Dan James got one. Anyway, so that's what he did. 2 subs at half time, and then Rashford off on 59 minutes.
Yep.
And then went away. But I'd say that the big positive for me was there were 7 different scorers in 9, and there was about 6 different assisters.
Okay.
So
everyone's pitching in there.
Yeah, so that's good. That it's not just one person was on fire. It was Luke Shaw was excellent once again.
Yeah, right.
Wan-Bissaka was excellent. Wan-Bissaka was man of the match.
I guess a result like that, and when the game's going in that direction, it gives everyone a bit of freedom and confidence, doesn't it? Yeah. So they might do certain things that they wouldn't maybe. Maybe they wouldn't take that shot or they wouldn't go for that ball if it was a closer game. Yeah. So you get to see what people are capable of a little bit.
Yeah, and what I will say is that Southampton I don't know what score it was now. I think it was it 4-0? I think it was to make it 4-1 on the 60th minute or something. Shea Adams scored a goal. It was ruled out VAR. And I looked at the line, I'm like, are you serious? They're kind of matching up Harry Maguire's fingertips and his fingertip. It's just, honestly, it's ridiculous. And I'm looking at it, it's the line's too thick. That close. It's it's massive.
It's still weird, isn't it?
It was a perfectly good goal. I felt sorry for him though, because just give it him. I was
give him that one.
Although I did put Shea Adams on my bench in fantasy football, but anyway. But it was such a tight call.
VAR's still funny, eh? I feel like we've not spoken about it for a while, and it's almost had a quiet period, which I guess is good.
Yeah.
But there's a few humdingers with that one this morning, and the what's his face sending off, David Luiz sending off, was never a sending off.
No.
And it just seems so obvious that why you can't get VAR to have a look at it and overrule it.
Reasonable man.
Yeah.
Know the rules and just go. I know this said. I know the rules say this, but actually my interpretation is
Yeah, and I know they don't like overruling the
Yeah.
ref, do they? Because you make the ref look a bit silly there. But surely Arsenal are going to put a complaint. I'll ask for a review of that because they'll be like, hang on,
I know.
how comes no one looked at that one?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still a strange one. I don't want to get too far into it. I guess not to put a dampener on it, but looking back, 0-0 with Arsenal. They lost again this morning. Madly inconsistent. Was it just a tight game? Could you have done more? Could you have got something out of that, do you think?
I think I was more disappointed with Arsenal than I was Sheffield United. Actually, no, that's a lie. No, I actually am, because I think there was a mentality problem against Arsenal. It was kind of, like I always say about the whole, first game in the World Cup, it's a not lose mentality. It's instead of a win mentality. It's Arsenal are so inconsistent. United have been doing all right this year. Go at them. Don't settle for a point. I know you'd take, like with the Leicester game, like with Liverpool. The Liverpool game I thought was there for the taking. The Leicester game was there for the taking, and so was Arsenal. And we haven't beat any of the top 6 this season.
That's mad, that.
So that's a mentality problem.
Yeah.
Why are you going to place and thinking, points all right? No, it's not all right.
No.
You got to be winning, because when it comes down to the crunch, everyone are going to beat the rubbish teams, and the league may be decided by a few points, and they're the points that you've been.
Yeah, Neville's banged on about this quite a bit, hasn't he? But he's almost using it as an excuse, isn't he, by saying that the squad isn't ready to challenge yet. It's not ready for that. They've not got the experience to do it. But I don't know. The same. We showed this morning that if you decide to put your foot down, it's having the balls to do it. I think, and then maybe that's a manager thing.
Well, I'll ask you the question: if Jurgen Klopp was the current Manchester United manager, could he win the league with that team?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah,
it's good enough. I think it's good enough,
especially this season when it's a bit. It is, and we keep saying the same thing, but it is a mentality thing, which I think Klopp would be able to get more out of them than I think Ollie is at the minute. And maybe it's him playing safe, and maybe it's him being like, just get top 4. Just do that. Don't. We caveat that by saying he has done it this morning, but it was Southampton. They did have 9 men.
Yeah.
You've got to do it against those top 6 teams. You've got to have the balls to go for it. Could have beat Leicester. Could have beat Liverpool. I think if you'd gone for it. Yeah. And that's something you're going to have to overcome if you're going to want to stay in challenge at the top of this league for the rest of the season. Yeah. You're going to have to change that somehow.
Exactly. And it's like Jamie.
Back yourself. You have to back yourself.
It's like what Jamie Carragher said as well during the week. This could be our best chance to win the league. Yeah. Because Liverpool with the centre-half issue. Yeah. City, he was saying, with no strikers.
Yeah.
And it's like, if Man United
the league's up for the taking, massively.
And he's like, what, are we waiting until Liverpool and Man City set the 100-point standard again?
Yeah.
This is the year to go for it.
Because next year, like you say, Liverpool got a full side again. You keep hold of those players or improve the squad.
Exactly.
You're back to, That's the thing. You've got to do a Leicester this year. There was a chance, I think it might have gone now, but there was a chance that someone could have done a Leicester this year and ran and had a run at that league and just clung on to it.
That should have been Spurs.
Probably should have been Spurs. Yeah, because City had a real, a rough patch, and they've come good now. Looks like Liverpool have turned the corner despite the injuries and stuff that are going on. Yeah. I think everyone's missed the chance now. It's like nobody wanted to take the baton and run with it, did they? Exactly. No one was able to do it. I know. This season, unfortunately.
So it makes you wonder. All this Mourinho, has he still got it in this magic? It's showing you time and time again. Something's obviously not right. Once again. And again, mentality issue with Spurs.
It's almost like he's not. He'll do a good job, and he may well get them top 4 and stuff. But the mantra of the special one, he wasn't able to do anything special, was he?
No. And you look at their recent results, and it's not so much it is the results. But if you look at break the match stats down, it's having like 1 shot a game. Yeah, and that whole defensive thing. When I forgot, as a Man United fan, I went, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when he was like that with us.
Yeah.
It's that style of football. I remember
he's relying on pumping that ball up to Son and Kane, isn't it? No, there's no way.
He got a 9-0 this morning, Mourinho. No way.
This is not the way he plays. And he may well get them top. It's still not guaranteed, but he may well get them top 4. Yeah. But I just don't think they're going to challenge. And then again, they've got a good squad as well, and could do something with the right person in charge. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen, is it?
And with a free agent like Diego Costa, they linked in the transfer window saying an unnamed top 6 club has offered him a contract. That has to be Spurs. Mourinho wants him back. Yeah. that he filled the gap for Harry Kane.
I wonder why they didn't get over the line then.
I don't know.
Look, it can only be money.
Maybe it can still happen because he's a free agent.
Oh,
but
true,
I'm like,
yeah, maybe it can.
I'm like, it's got to be Spurs that, because Mourinho would want him. He's a Mourinho player. Like,
yeah.
Fight for everything, dogged. Exactly. What?
West Ham still top 6. I don't know where they are in the league. They might be.
Yeah, they're thereabouts. Yeah. There we go. That whole striker.
There you go.
But anyway, moving on. I mentioned West Ham. And I think Liverpool played them most recently.
We did.
And
it was good. It was really good.
Is it Liverpool back to the best? Talk me through it.
Close to.
Yeah.
You know, there's still quite a first half, but it looked better. We controlled the game again. And then just skipping forward to the second half, we looked like the Liverpool of old. It looked like we looked close to being at our best.
Yeah.
And that's even with the injury problems. Like pre-game, we found out Fabinho was out, so we had Henderson back there with Nat Phillips, who's doing really well, by the way. Both of those centre-backs who are, Nat Phillips is not a first-choice Premier League centre-back by any means, and Henderson is playing the way out position, but both doing a fantastic job. Nat Phillips doing the basics right, stepping up. You've seen him improve game on game, and Henderson's just able to perform and do a role wherever he is on the pitch. He's doing what he's doing in that kind of number 6 role, just 10 yards back, I suppose. Being vocal on the pitch, pinging those long balls, similar to what Van Dijk did. We've just found a way to be able to get through it. But I think the big difference there is Salah's found his confidence again. And I think maybe that's partly to do with Henderson being at the back and maybe just having that voice and that leader at the back. As much as Fabinho's doing that job, I don't think he's got the same presence maybe that Henderson does. And maybe it just spreads that confidence throughout the back four. Trent's able to be a bit more free. Robbo also feels he can bomb on. I don't know what it is that's changed, but it just seems that we've either just got to grips with it and just accepted it and managed to start to play again. But again, Salah was the one that made the difference. Yeah. We were missing Mane as well. So like pre-game, you're looking at the lineup and thinking, oh my god, this is going to be real tough. And we were able to capitalise on a good performance the week before. And we were brilliant. And that the second goal, Salah's second goal, just beautiful football. And it's everything that
touch.
It was a Liverpool goal. I think just everyone. The great ball from Trent, and again, I think it's underestimated how valuable that is to move that ball forward at pace. And then Shaqiri, and he takes some flack at times. People question if he's good enough. Question whether he should start, whether he should come on. Yeah. He's come on and hit that ball first time. And someone said it this week, so I'm stealing this from somebody else, but it almost shows the confidence that Shaqiri has in Salah. He knows I can just lump this here, and Salah will deal with it. He's good enough to deal with that. And his touch was just sublime. Yeah. I think he's on about 20. He's over 20 goals already this season now, and we're halfway through. If he keeps this vein of form, it could be another 40-goal season for him if he's able to kick on and keep going. We've got big games ahead. He's a big game player. Got Brighton tomorrow morning, tonight in the UK, which should be a winnable game. Although they were tough last time out, and they've caused problems for a lot of top teams this year.
What's the latest on Mane? Is he still injured?
I think he might be back. Right, he might be back, but I'm not 100% sure.
Because I was thinking whether, if Mane is back, whether Salah gets a rest.
Maybe. He won't want it. I think you've got to capitalise on this momentum with him now. I don't think he needs a rest. I think I would keep going. You want that momentum coming into City, don't you? Yeah. Brighton today. I think Fabinho's back, so we may well see him play midfield. Maybe keep Henderson at the back, but finally allow Fabinho to go play back in that midfield again in preparation for City. But I think we're going to need him.
Yeah, because Matip's out for the season, isn't it?
Done for the season. I think his Liverpool career might be done.
Mr. Glass.
Yeah, great player on his day, but I don't think the way Liverpool play, he's just not suited to it. He can't back it up, can he? And now with all the we've obviously signed 2 centre backs in the window. Yeah. We'll link to a bunch more as well, and we've got our first choice 2 to come back. You suddenly start looking at Matip and be like, I don't even know if you're going to be in that squad next year.
He was a free anyway.
he's a great player and he'll always go down as he's contributed there in the best Liverpool teams we've ever seen, potentially, definitely in my lifetime. But I just don't think, looking forward, if you're going to kick the squad on, I'm not sure he's a part of it. You can't rely on him. You just can't rely on it. And I think there's a lot of other players we've been linked to there. So we might not see Matip play at Liverpool again.
It's like what I said earlier. Phil Jones is the same for us. Can't rely on him. No. Like he survived a window.
Yeah.
It's like just rip up his contract.
Yeah.
Just get in.
Be excited to see. I don't know how fast they'll bring in the lads that we've just bought. Ben Davis from Preston.
Yeah.
Didn't know a lot about him, but a lot of the Preston fans have raved about him. He's someone that's been on Liverpool's radar for a while.
One of the fantasy football groups that I'm in, one of the lads in there is a Preston North End fan, and he really rates him.
Yeah, right.
I think he's left-footed.
Big step up, isn't it, though?
Yeah, he said. Well, that's what he said. He said he's the best centre-back he's seen at North End for a good while.
Yep.
He said, obviously, it's a big step up. He said that he was surprised that Preston North End was running his contract down.
Yeah, right.
So he was a free. So it's kind of... And he said he'd been one of the best centre-halves. So it's a step up.
He's 25, so he's a bit older than, some of the young lads we've got in there. Probably a bit of a step up in class. He's been unplayed. The good thing is he'll have that toughness and resilience. He's been out on loan and played at like Fleetwood and I can't remember, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Got that experience, I guess, just playing games. So now again, it's a massive step up, and I don't know if I've got a feeling he might be the one that might come into the side first before the likes of Kabak and that comes in. I don't know if he's come from Germany. I don't know whether he has to like isolate for a bit. And
I don't know.
All that.
Interesting how you've gone for him, because the Schalke are bottom of Bundesliga.
Come from France, didn't he? So, come from Germany. I was right.
Schalke.
Yeah.
He came from Bundesliga, bottom of the league, and they've won one game.
Yeah. I think he's been someone that's been on the radar again for a while. It is, because I think even Preston are struggling. We've bought two struggling defenders, but saying that we've got a track record of that. Picking the kind of the star out of a shite team.
Yeah.
Andy Robertson went down. Gino Wijnaldum, I think, went down with Newcastle. And look at those guys now. So it's not always a reflection of the quality of the player, but no, it's an interesting point.
Sunderland went down the year you got Henderson.
Quite possibly, yeah. Probably. Yeah. And so I think it's not always a reflection of that. But it will be interesting to see how they come into the side, because we need them. But it's not really Klopp's go, is it? He doesn't usually throw people in. No. It took Robertson months almost to get up to speed. He likes to do the work on the training pitch before he puts them in. But I feel like he's going to need to put at least one of them in. And I wonder if it's the lad from Preston.
Yeah, well, probably he's more accustomed to the English grind.
Game,
just like Nat Phillips, really. Because like that Greek fella, he's not really coming to the forward hasn't. No. So he's another one from overseas, just bet him in.
Yeah.
And he was kind of, and I know he's had his injury problems, but even someone like Keita coming from Germany, you've kind of, Naby Keita, you've kind of,
he's been in and out.
Integrate straight away.
No, it took a long time.
Minamino, to integrate.
I think it's very rare that he does that to anyone, so it'll be very interesting to see. And especially now that Phillips and Henderson seem to be working, I wonder. I don't think he'll throw either of them in before the City game, just because you don't want your debut to be in a big, an important game like that against City, especially unless he plays Henderson and Phillips tonight, and one of them has a shocker. I think he'll just keep going.
Yeah.
Then after City, we've got a slightly favourable, or more favourable run of games. You start betting, probably I would say Ben Davis in.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Yeah. Who knows?
Well, Andy, I think he is left-footed. So if Henderson prefers that right side, which I think he probably would, then that's the perfect left-sided centre back. Yeah. Because I presume what's Nat Phillips, is right-footed?
I think so. Know. Doesn't use his feet, just uses his head.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? Fair play to Nat Phillips, because similar plays football in a similar way to myself. None of this playing out from the back. None of this Pep Guardiola kill football. None of this tiki-taka, play it out from the back. Oh, Virgil van Dijk, I can play at my feet. If in doubt, kick it out. Wes Morgan, Robert Huth won a Premier League. 4-4-2. If the ball comes near you, head it out or boot it into the stands. That's all I ask. And Ben Davis will do the same.
Sound like Mike Bassett.
That's what it is. Just, give me none of this, like Leeds playing all this fancy football. Give me Tony Pulis with 4 centre-backs across the back 4 any day of the week.
Well, there's room in the game for it. There's room in the game for that.
Bring it back. Yeah. Bring back the 4-4-2. United won leagues on 4-4-2. Bring it back.
Brilliant. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
I think who have you got next before
Everton.
we move on?
Noisy neighbours.
Ooh, yes. When's that? The weekend?
Yeah.
Well, they've got... Played this morning, okay.
Who have they got in the meantime?
Can't remember.
Because I've got Calvert-Lewin, and I think it's an all right game for him.
I also brought Calvert-Lewin in.
So it must be a favourable game then.
I'll have a look at who they've got next. In the meantime, is that a game that you need to win? You need to be winning this game.
Yeah, we've just got to keep this train. We've got like this 9-0. We can't be down tools in
not at all.
And anything like that. We've already seen mentality is an issue, so while we're riding high, just keep going,
Yeah.
They're gonna be fit. Certainly if Everton are a cagier for, and quite often Everton games are, they got beat to Newcastle on Saturday.
Yeah, and they're playing Leeds tomorrow morning.
Leeds, that's it.
Which
so
again,
that's
they're going to go
goals.
at them, aren't they?
That's
there's going to be goals. They're going to go at them. They might be rattled by the time they come to play you.
I know.
If they get, if they've slipped up against Newcastle, Leeds give them a tough game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't know what you're going to get with them, do you? Again, it's the same as a lot of people. Similar to Arsenal's, they can pick up these results when you least expect it.
Yeah, Everton and Spurs in my lifetime, I reckon, have been the two coupon busters. You can guarantee if there's a banker, Everton at home or Tottenham at home, early kick-off, fill the acca up with that, no problem. No, got beat. Everton and Tottenham.
Do you think we'll see that King get a run out against you? He'll go straight in.
Well, he used to play for us. He played at United, a reserve player, so he might be on the... I don't think he'll start, but he'll certainly
be on the bench. Might see him.
On the bench. He might come on as a bit of a cameo, so... Good signing, I think.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll move on. The UFC this weekend is back in Las Vegas after 3 weeks over on Fight Island. First show in Vegas this year, I think, isn't it? I'm assuming it is. Yeah. It's a good card, actually. Again, you look at it at first glance and you're like, there's nothing blowing you away on there. But when you start to have a look at it, there's interesting fights in there. It's a good mix of veterans who, last chance saloon, final runs, all that kind of palaver, and up-and-comers, prospects, people that we haven't seen before. And there's a lot of names on that card I've never heard of. But then I think that's great. I can't break them down and preview them for you now, but I'm looking forward to watching it because I'm like, who's this fella?
Yeah.
Prelims, the standout fight on the... obviously, we got Molly McCann, Liverpool girl, Meatball Molly McCann. Had a disappointing performance last time out. She fought on Fight Island, didn't she? Yeah. And was it the September one?
Yeah.
September one. She got her first real test, didn't she, I think, in the UFC. She'd have been on a good run. She put about 3 wins together. First big test. Came up short. It was a decision.
Yeah.
I think there's some fighters like that, like McCann. She's a scrapper, isn't she? She comes to fight, and I think maybe she overthought that fight.
Yeah.
I'm hoping in this fight I wrote it down. Who's she fighting? She is fighting a girl called Lara Procilio. I'm hoping she just comes to scrap. I don't know a lot about her opponent, but I'm hoping Molly just turns up. I don't want to go as far as say she's fighting for UFC career here, but it's quite a deep division, hers, and she's not even ranked yet. You lose here, it's a long way back. Yeah. It's a long road back.
Was it from memory? Was it very Darren Till-like in regards to an output thing? Was it? I seem to recall Molly McCann was there, but it's like just give us a bit more output. Did she lose a decision?
I wish I could remember. Yeah, she lost a decision. I wish I could remember who she fought, but I remember thinking at the time she couldn't get near her.
Right. Okay.
She couldn't get her hands on her.
Right.
She kept getting picked off at range.
Oh yeah.
If you remember it.
Yeah.
And
she kind of like swarm forward and then just get clocked.
She get cracked on her way in. She just couldn't get to her. I don't know a lot about this opponent, but I want the best for her. I want her to do well. Yeah. She offers a lot, and she's someone who wants it, and she's putting the work in. Mm-hmm. She's obviously a kind of a boxer at heart, but I know she's done a lot of work with the jiu-jitsu, with the ground game, with grappling. She's entering tournaments, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So she wants it. She's putting the work in. I think it's going to come down to remembering who she is and what her skill set is, and also it's going to be a test if she's got the talent that is going to take her there. It's a good division, and I do worry that a loss for her here might be curtains. I don't know. I'm not sure. I hope she does it, and I think she will. She's again. You can sell Molly McCann quite easily. Similar to a Darren Till, she's got that persona, that Scouse personality. If you're the UFC, you're better if she's in it. She's in that division. She's just got to rack up the wins.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you reckon? Are you backing her for the win?
I'm going to back her, and I think you're absolutely right. In terms of opponent, I think the UFC will always try, not say second chance, but will always give her the opponent. Someone like her can sell. She's Scouse. She's got that personality.
Yep.
And I think they're going to give her every best chance to get the win and turn it around. And then, like you say, if she doesn't, then it's maybe a tough decision.
It's almost curtains, I think. Headlining the prelims, great fight. Michael Johnson and Clay Guida. Clay Guida's been around for bloody since the dawn of the UFC, probably. Yeah. Famous for his fight against Diego Sanchez, isn't he? Which is absolutely fantastic. A stalwart of the division. He's not going anywhere. As in terms of he's not progressing up the rankings there, is he? But it's a great fight. It's a bit like these legend fights that we see.
Yeah, the Carlos Condit, Matt Brown.
It's exactly recently. Of that. The veterans that people want to see. Everyone knows the names. Yeah. They both come to fight. It's going to be a competitive match. It's hard to put Michael Johnson in that bracket yet, but I think he probably is slipping in there. But again, it's worth remembering that he's one of the only people, maybe the only person who's rocked Khabib in the lightweight division. I'm assuming they're both fighting at lightweight still. Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a great fight. I like Michael Johnson. He's got really crisp striking, hasn't he? Yeah. Whereas I think Clay Guida, we know, comes to scrap a bit more. Yeah. So this might be a bit more of a patient fight from Johnson. Clay Guida trying to bum rush him. What do you reckon?
I think the loser is done.
Yeah. Oh, it's curtains.
I think Johnson's on a 3-fight skid.
Is he? Oh.
Guida's on a 2-fight skid.
Right.
I really like Guida, and the reason is you mentioned the Diego Sanchez fight. Yeah. That was the very first. Well, that was the fight that got me into the UFC.
I was going to say, doesn't it? I thought you were going to say it was your first fight you watched. I was like, there's no better one to watch.
Yeah, it more or less was.
Really?
Because I remember me and Adam was watching it in Florida because it was on. It was the Ultimate Fighter finale.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and it was America versus the UK. So like Ross Pearson was on there.
Yeah, right.
And I remember me and Adam was watching it on TV, and then I remember the first. It might not have been my first fight, but it was certainly the first kind of UFC card that I kind of tuned into with Adam, and that was quite early on with it being the Ultimate Fighter finale.
Awesome.
And that was like, wow.
Yeah.
It was
rock'em sock'em robots, blood and guts.
It was unbelievable.
Long hair everywhere.
So I've got a lot to thank Clay Guida for. He kind of got me into that in a way, and Sanchez.
It's the perfect prelim headliner, isn't it? It just warms you up for a main card.
It's perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
Michael Johnson fought everybody. Well, Clay Guida, but Michael Johnson has fought everyone.
He has fought everyone.
You know, they've all gone through.
He must look back at his fight cards because he's fought Khabib, obviously early doors. He's also fought people like Artem. Like he's fought the full spectrum of talent on that roster.
From the goat to the goat.
Yeah.
But because they always say that the Michael Johnson Khabib fight is famous, obviously because of the knockdown.
Yep.
But it's also the fight where Khabib announced himself with the whole "I fight your Irish chicken, 150 million." That was that. Well, he was like a prelim fighter. Khabib,
very much unknown. Yeah,
he was a very much unknown. He was a prelim fighter, and then suddenly that was the moment that turned into this. Whoa, McGregor and Khabib, what's this?
Yeah, right.
So that was the very fight where he was like 150 million.
Irish chicken.
Yeah. Brilliant. So there we go. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm gonna edge. I'm gonna back the Carpenter. I'm gonna go Guida.
Right. I'm gonna back Michael Johnson. I think he'll control the range better, and I think he'll be able to pick him off.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I think there'll be a lot of fence action, a lot of Clay Guida up against the fence, just rushing him, like you said, bull rushing him.
I think he'll try and bull rush him in. Yeah. Moving on to the main card. Again, kicks off with an absolute barnstorm on a very interesting one. Something we'll touch on a little bit later. Diego Ferreira versus Beneil Dariush. Mm-hmm. Great fight because these are two guys that are on the outskirts of this lightweight tournament, this lightweight kind of top 10. I think one of them's ranked 10, one of them's ranked 13 or something like that in the lightweight division. But Dariush first has put a great run together. He was always known as the grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, really, really highly ranked jiu-jitsu player. Had been, I think had a bit of a rough start in the UFC, but had gone away and worked on his striking. Yeah. And the last two fights I've seen him in has finished both of them with fantastic strikes. So now, if he's putting those together, the best thing you can have when you're a striker almost is have that grappling background first, because you're not afraid to go to the ground, are you? Which gives you that freedom to throw things that the likes of Conor McGregor wouldn't throw, because I don't want to leave myself open to going down. You know what I mean? It's a bit like Tony Ferguson, not afraid to throw because I'm happy anywhere, really. And that's a bit like what Dariush has got now. He's really, making a name for himself, and he's the winner of this fight puts himself, I've said they're on the outskirts, but it puts them a lot closer to being involved in this really interesting division where there's lots of money fights, lots of interest. It's a big fight for these guys. Ferreira, I looked at his record, he comes, again, very highly thought of. People like Dan Hardy rave about him. It's hard to tell at the minute if you've not seen him fight too much, because he's not fought anyone. Really, his record's not great. He did beat Anthony Pettis. That's the big name on his record. Anthony Pettis, who is now left the UFC, had a rough patch, but former champ. So we give him that. Where's your head at with this one?
So I'm pretty sure that these two fought 6 years ago in the UFC.
In the UFC?
Yeah.
I didn't realise he'd been around that long.
Like UFC 179, I think it was.
Cool.
And I think they fought before, and Dariush won by decision.
Right.
And I'm going to stick with that, and it'll be, they both got better, but Dariush is still a little bit better.
You think by decision again still?
I think by decision again. Because I think, I think watching his last couple of fights, his opponent's got to be very aware of what he can bring. Yeah. And I think it'll be a bit more...
Bit tentative.
A bit tentative, bit cagey, and think, I can't, just try some output, see if I can force something. So I think, but I think it'll be the same thing. I think it'll be Dariush by decision. You're absolutely right. His last couple of performances. Was I right in saying the last fight was that like elbow? Was it?
Yeah,
elbow?
Like a spinning elbow, wasn't
it?
It's mad. Yeah, I remember the last two times I've watched him, I've been really impressed. Yeah. Because he comes, he's a bit of a dad bod, hasn't he? Yeah, yes. Which is rare in the 55-pound division. You don't tend to be pretty ripped, don't you? Yeah. He's got a bit of a dad bod. He's strange build, but he seems to have put that grappling and the striking skills together now, and it's just super dangerous. And I think in the past people haven't expected of him. Yeah, he always comes in as the underdog. I wonder now, like you say, there's evidence here, there's videotape, recent tape of him knocking people out. Yeah. So I think people will be very aware of how dangerous he is. Yeah. Which might make it a bit more of a cagey affair. Yeah. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I agree. I'm backing Dariush in this one. Yeah. I think he's got the momentum. I think he's improved the most. And I'd love to see him go on and take on top 10, top 8 contender in the lightweight, and just see where he's at, see where his level ends up being. Brilliant. Next one, we've also got Pantoja. So we're back now down to the flyweight division, which again became interesting this year with the kind of the surge through the division of Figueiredo, Moreno. Pantoja's kind of within that same bracket. He's actually fought Figueiredo before and lost. He's fighting a UFC debutant called Manel Cap, Angolan native. I think it's his debut, but he weighed in, similar to Michael Chandler, to what's his face? The Figueiredo Moreno fight. Obviously didn't fight, so this is his debut, but he's supposed to be super dangerous. And again, I've got very little kind of experience of how good he is, what type of fighter he is. But the UFC don't throw these guys in at this level for no reason. So I'm expecting a barnstorm here. I think this is going to be incredible.
Yep, you're absolutely right. They obviously know something to throw Pantoja. That's a big respect on the newcomer for me. Massive. Because I think I'm right in saying maybe Nick Pete's pick for the champion at the end of the year is Pantoja.
Was it?
On the open mat.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he was the one that, or it might have been Dan Hardy, either one of the two. Yep. One of them has backed Pantoja to win the title at the end of the year.
Right.
And I'm a fan of Pantoja. I think he's really good. He could be well up there, Not to say he might be the belt, but I think he is on the trajectory to be, number one contender, right in the mix. Yep. And I don't know much about this newcomer. Obviously, he comes with a bit of a reputation and big things, but I think it's interesting what they're going to do with the newcomer, because if he is similar to a Michael Chandler,
it's exactly the same
if
scenario.
he puts on a spectacle and goes, well, if he can bash Pantoja in 2.5 minutes, he might get a title shot.
It's exactly the same scenario, I think, and the whole thing's played out exactly the same. They obviously rate him very, very highly. You throw him in there with the Lions and see how he gets on. Yeah. If he gets beaten, it's fine. You go back down, you work your way up. Yeah. If you win in spectacular fashion, i.e. Michael Chandler, you're suddenly in the title picture straight away, and
of course.
And you're hot shit, aren't you? Exactly. You're amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah. No idea how it's going to go.
Couldn't tell you. Your good operators like your Roy Vals or anything, and they're like, whoa, what about me? And suddenly they just go, whoa.
Yeah. But it creates intrigue, doesn't it? Because everyone start calling him out. Everyone wants to fight him. He's dangerous. You can't almost avoid him, can you? Because if he's suddenly above you, you have to call him out to get anywhere near the title again. So and
it makes you wonder if he's got any, depending on what his communication's like. Is he good on the mic? Can he do something spectacular at the weekend and then say, I'm having the winner of figure eight?
Yeah, he's Angolan. I don't know. Maybe I don't know where he trains. I'm assuming he doesn't. He's not training in Angola.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's maybe in somewhere like France. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I think where he's obviously got a good background in other organisations. So yeah, very, very much looking forward to that fight.
I'll lean to Pantoja on that one.
Play it safe with Pantoja. Yeah. I'll go for the upset with Cap.
Okay.
We then move on. So co-main event: Corey Sandhagen, Frankie Edgar. Fireworks is great. Sandhagen, was right there in the title picture, wasn't he? Not too long ago. Mm-hmm. Suffered a quick defeat to Aljo in what was kind of the number one contender fight. I felt bad for him after that because it was very quick. Yeah. It was a very quick submission. Yeah. And I think he was just I think he got caught in the headlights a little bit. He just didn't see it coming and he got caught in it. Yeah. But bounced back super quick. Incredible knockout against Marlon Moraes, again, who's a real contender in that division. Yeah. Which threw himself right back in the mix. Interesting that he's been given Frankie Edgar, because I think Sandhagen could look at that a bit like a step down, couldn't he? Mm. Edgar is Frankie Edgar, former champ, 2 weight divisions ahead. He's working his way down on what you would think is his last hurrah in the UFC. Mm. He's come down 2 weight classes, made bantamweight, made his debut back end of last year, mid last year, against Pedro Munoz, who's no joke in that division. Got a decision win. Looked pretty good. It could have gone either way, but looked pretty good. But I think if I was Sandhagen, I'd be a bit miffed that I've had to fight Frankie, because he's dangerous. You can never count him out. But I think I hope he takes it seriously enough. I hope he's not looking down on him, being like, you're just a stone I've got to kick out of the way to get back on track. Yeah. Because Frankie Edgar will be looking at this like, I'm going for that title, and you're in my way. Yeah. What do you reckon?
Very much. I would argue, not in terms of a step down, but if he underestimates Frankie Edgar, it's a very Conor Poirier situation. He's talking about Khabib and titles and going, no, you got to beat this guy first.
Yeah. And
then suddenly you lose and you go, oh, now I'm fighting a Pedro. I've got to work my way back up now.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So I hope he doesn't go in with that. And not to say McGregor overlooked Poirier, but I'm just saying, you got to beat who's in front of you first, and it's Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, right or wrong,
he doesn't get knocked
whether you
out,
like it or not.
He's a tough cookie, Frankie Edgar. Always has and always will be.
Yeah.
So there's still life in the old dog yet, and you've got to take him out. You've got to take him out.
I was surprised how good he looked down at that weight as well. Having not even being a small lightweight to come down 2 weight divisions and still look good. He had real fast hands. He's got high caliber wrestling. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting matchup though, isn't it? Because Sandhagen's for that weight division is very long and rangy, real dangerous leg kicks. Obviously knocked Moraes out with that. It's whether he's got. I think it's going to come down to the toughness of Edgar and whether he can hang with him,
and keep inside, and keep coming.
Whether he can grind out maybe a decision win. I think that's how I see Frank Edgar winning. I'm not sure that he knocks. I'm not sure that he can probably get hold of Sandhagen. The smart thing for Sandhagen is keep the range, keep him away from you, because if he gets inside, it's going to box your head off. And can grind it out on the ground as well. I think Sandhagen's going to have to keep him at distance. Frankie Edgar maybe needs to keep attacking, trying to get in as much as he can, maybe take it to the ground. That's where he's going to do his probably most damage. How it plays out though, my initial thought was that Sandhagen will get a knockout here. I think Sandhagen will probably be a bit miffed that he's been given this, and he'll want to swat him aside. We've seen what power he's got. brilliant.
Bit of a chip on his shoulder.
I think so.
Point to prove.
And it'd be interesting to see how much is what Edgar can do at this weight. When you cut weight, it tends to affect your chin a bit. I'm wondering, I would be watching out for a head kick knockout again. I think.
And I think with this fight as well, is I think one, you're right. He might have a bit of a chip on his shoulder because of the opponent, and he thinks he's above Edgar.
Yeah.
And two, me personally, I would say he could also be a bit miffed because this is a co-main. This could easily be a fight night main.
Yeah, it could.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
So it's like I ain't got main event money. Yeah. I'm fighting someone that I think I'm better than.
Yeah. He's got to have that right mentality. Yeah. He's got to have the mentality of almost swat this guy's side. But he needs to go in there and do it ruthlessly. Don't underestimate it and just think it's a given you're going to get a win. Yeah. Because because Frankie Edgar, like I said, it's Frankie Edgar, and he grit, tough, and can fight like hell. Edgar absolutely can win this, but I think it will be a Sandhagen victory, which then makes me question what's next for Edgar. He's one of those guys. He's only in here for a title shot. Yeah. He's not doing anything else. He's 38. He's coming up on 40, I think. Yeah. You've not got long left in your tank. If you lose this, you're a long way. Yeah. You're a long way away. Is it the last time we see him if he loses? Or is there an Aldo fight that might be his last? That could be his last fight. I'd love to see Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo in that division.
I would say Aldo Edgar makes sense. I think if he loses this, then Aldo, for example, that would be a final one.
That's a perfect final fight.
And I hope it's far enough away where there's fans in the stadium, because Frankie Edgar deserves a send-off.
Massively.
I would say.
I think if he loses this, the clock is ticking. He might get one for the road almost. Yeah. Or if it doesn't work out, it could be it, I think.
On a Brazil card or whatever, and just wherever.
Do you think he can do it? Where are you putting your money on this one?
I'm saying Sandhagen decision.
Sandhagen decision. Keeps him at range.
Yeah.
Picks him off.
Yeah. Output.
Right. Yeah. Frustrates Edgar probably.
Yeah.
Can definitely see it happening. Which leads us to the main event. This is where we're talking about veteran. I guess it's two veterans really. One real veteran, one guy that's stuck around. He'd been in other organisations, but he's not got that many less fights really when you look at the records. Alastair Overeem. What was his first name? Volkov. Alexander.
Alexander Volkov. Yeah.
Alexander. Yeah. Alexander Volkov. I guess I'll come to you on this one. What? This has got to be. We know it's the last run again for Overeem. We're talking about last runs all over the place.
Demolition man.
Has to be the last run for Overeem. He has to win this fight. How does he win it?
Ground and pound.
Right, yeah.
He'll clock him with something similar to Walt Harris. He'll clock him because Volkov's tough and he's
rangy as well.
He's rangy.
He's like 6'7" or something.
And I think it'll be Overeem will catch him with something, and then Overeem will see. He's never afraid to, as soon as he sees a bit of blood, to go after it. Yeah. And I think, but Volkov's equally as dangerous. Interestingly, they've both fought Walt Harris recently. Both of them. Yeah. Walt Harris had lost to both of them recently. And I've been more impressed in Overeem than ever because of his last couple of wins, like we've talked about and broke down. He's come through adversity. Yeah. He looked like the first round was done. Comes back.
He's using nous, isn't he? And that's the big, he's a dangerous, well-rounded fighter, but his biggest asset at the minute seems to be his experience. He's been there, he's seen it all. Yeah. He's got everything in his locker. He can do everything. He can strike, he can grapple, he can submit. He's got wicked guillotines. And I think it's, if you're Volkov, it's almost like going into it and picking like, where is he least good? Yeah. Where have I got my best chance? And it's, I don't know where that is. It's probably trying to stay at range and, head kick knockouts. Yeah. That type of thing is like, this is my easiest road in here. Yeah. But I don't know whether he can do that. Like, I can only see this going to Overeem. Yeah. But I might be wildly underestimating Volkov here because we know, he is good. And it's hard. I really want Overeem to win, and I just think in every scenario, wherever his fight goes, I feel like Overeem has probably got his number. So I'm gonna back Overeem. And I think you might be right. It could be a ground and pound. But it also could be a exhaust him, make him give you your back.
Choke him out
on the floor. Some kind of submission when he's tired.
Yeah.
Drags it into the late rounds. But having said that, Volkov is also, he's a 5-round fighter as well. He tends to be a little bit more cautious than most. And he's happy to so it could be quite a cautious fight, couldn't it? Where, again, it's a tough division at the minute where you have to stay relevant and stay winning, because whatever you do, whoever you are in that heavyweight division, you're miles away from the title, because you've got Stipe and Francis to come. John Jones is next. I don't care what you say. So you're already half a year away from getting anywhere near a title shot. You have to, if you're Overeem, you have to win this fight. Again, if he loses this fight, that's it. It must be it.
I would love him. I would love him to get to the top.
Yeah.
And his last fight is John Jones for the belt.
It'll be unreal, wouldn't it? Win or lose, that's amazing. Yeah.
I can either beat the youngster with
potential gold as well.
Potential gold. Go out on my sword.
Yeah.
Fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
Similar to we talked about Bisping, GSP, that type of. Can you script a more perfect ending? Yeah. Yeah. Not fighting Kelvin Gastelum two weeks later, but
do it
that
right.
type of. Yeah. You're going to win the belt, or you're going to go out on your sword.
For someone like him,
you did it. You got to the mountain.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
did it. You said one last drum, and you got it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think if he loses again, there's no more run, is there? You're so far from anywhere.
Not at 43 or whatever.
No, you're so far from that, and then there's almost no road back, I would say, for him. So
yeah,
I'm gonna back Overeem. I'm gonna back him for a submission win.
He's one of them fighters, Overeem, that if he was on Sportsbet at the weekend, said, "Oh, look at my bet," and you picked Overeem knockout, Overeem submission, Overeem decision, whatever it would be. Yeah, I'd look every single one and go, "That's a good bet, that." Because you can't predict.
He could go anyway.
He's good in every area.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where it's an intriguing fight, isn't it? We'll say this now. We'll get knocked out in the first minute by Volkov, and we'll just be like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I know.
But he's someone you look forward to fighting because I don't know what I'm going to get with him. Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah.
Good card all round. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't even checked what time it's on here. It'll be on Sunday, won't it, at some point? But it's back in Vegas, so it might be probably the afternoon, lunchtime, afternoon.
Hopefully.
Yeah, cool. We'll finish on the lightweight division. We've talked about it loads. I don't want to bash on it for too long. Yeah. But there's lots of things playing out, isn't it? But we don't seem to be not got anywhere yet. Yeah. Nothing's been made. There's lots of potential matchups. People are being stubborn. They're holding out for the title shot, aren't they, at the minute? Yeah. Oliveira's holding out for a title shot. Apparently he's turned down a fight with Chandler. Yeah. Poirier said he's basically not fighting anyone. He holds most of the cards now. I'm not fighting anyone unless it's for a title or it's Conor McGregor and I'm getting millions of dollars. Yeah. And meanwhile, everyone else kind of wants to fight each other, wants to fight Poirier. Yeah. What do you think? Okay, my question then is, what's the first matchup? What gets made? What do you think gets made first? It's hard, isn't it?
Gaethje Diaz.
You think Gaethje Diaz is the first one to go?
Maybe.
Yeah. I think it might be Gaethje Chandler. Might be the first one that gets made. Because I think they're both game to fight.
Yeah.
Oliveira, he needs to fight. But quite rightly, I feel like he deserves a title shot. Yeah. And maybe he's doing the right thing. Yeah. But the UFC hate that when you turn down fights, don't they? Exactly.
And it serves no purpose.
Nah, sometimes it doesn't do yourself any favours. As shit as it is, I don't think he holds enough power in the division yet to turn down fights, unfortunately. Yeah. If you're Conor McGregor, you can. If you're Dustin Poirier, you probably can. Gaethje, maybe you can. I don't think Oliveira can, even though he deserves to be able to. I don't think he can.
Exactly.
And he's going to miss his chance if he's not careful. Yeah, yeah. He needs to accept a fight.
The lightweights need to realise, if you reject a fight that is on the table for you, whether you agree with it or not, you make the decision. But if you reject the fight, all you're giving is the UFC the chance to slip Conor back in.
Yeah.
Because they will. And then you'll be the first to argue, he shouldn't be there.
And then he'll go like...
Well, he wanted to fight. He turned up, unfortunately. Yeah. Whether he's coming off a loss or not, he don't turn down fights.
No. I think the other fight we might get, and it's hard to justify, but But if people turn down fights, Oliveira, I'm looking at you, you might get Nate Diaz Poirier for a belt. You might get it. Because then again, you've either got Poirier who's got a belt.
Yeah.
Great, everyone's a winner. Or you end up with Diaz with a belt while Conor does some other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you eventually, then you've got Conor Diaz for a belt.
Or you've got Conor Poirier, trilogy versus...
Either
Conor's
way,
getting his trilogy.
Yeah, either way he's getting it. And I think that's what they might do next. And then those two don't fight often. So they might make that and then it'd be like, right, everybody else fight each other, play that out. At the end of the year, you're fighting either Poirier or Diaz for a belt.
Yeah.
And, and that's the message in Conor's ear is make sure you win and you're in that position.
Yeah.
We've teed this up for you.
Yeah.
You just have to get there now. You're going to have to beat Oliveira. You're going to have to beat Gaethje. You're going to have to beat Chandler. You have to beat one of them, probably, before you get this. But there's the golden fucking egg on, at the end of the end of the rainbow there.
Very interesting that Poirier said that Michael Chandler needs one more fight to be in title contention.
Yeah, right.
And Chandler's reply, which you can't argue,
No, yeah, I saw that.
Is I did a top 5. I came into the organisation, beat a top 5 in 2.5 minutes. A guy.
You took 25 minutes.
Yeah,
to
25 minutes.
Yeah.
And you go and you
he's great, Chandler,
and you listen to that reply and you go, yeah, you don't need to fight anyone.
Yeah,
you could instantly book Poirier, Chandler for the belt now and go, yeah, okay.
And then that's where Poirier's got to be careful because Chandler's, momentum here, and if Poirier turns that down, they'll give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
You haven't got the belt yet, Poirier. I know you deserve it. You haven't got it yet.
People have got short memories, and Poirier needs to remember that without Conor McGregor, he was in the UFC bad books because you remember it was a Poirier-Tony Ferguson. And Tony Ferguson said, pay him no money.
And the Diaz one.
Yeah,
the
and
Diaz
the
fight fell apart as well.
And Tony Ferguson said, pay the man more money. I'm sitting, and Ferguson was acting as his agent.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere, on social media, oh yeah, we'll fight. Oh yeah, we'll fight for charity. Yeah. So Poirier, you can sit on your high horse and think you do the belt, mate, but the sport rolls on
It's so interesting because everybody needs to be very, very careful. And this is what happens when you've got so many people who are willing to fight. You lose the power of turning down fights because you want whatever. The UFC will just be like, oh, you don't want, okay, cool. You haven't got the belt yet, Dustin. Like, I know you deserve it. And the fight to make is Oliveira Poirier for a belt, in my opinion. But people are turning shit down, and the UFC won't like that. They'll just go right next.
Yeah.
Because someone else will do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've got a sneaky feeling we might see Poirier Diaz for a belt. Okay. And I know it's not deserving Diaz, but we've nearly had that fight before. Yeah. And you can sell it because it's Diaz. Yeah. You can sell that. And what it leads to is potential trilogy matches for McGregor down the line. And then it's up to McGregor to fight the rest out. But Michael Chandler's very dangerous. Justin Gaethje's very dangerous. There's so many potential amazing fights in this.
Did you hear that Joe Rogan said or words to that effect, is if Chandler fought Conor McGregor would be the betting underdog?
I think, well, right now he would, yeah. It's hard to argue that, isn't it? You just look at his credentials, knockout power, wrestle fuck you. Not great for Conor. Not great. I would, if you're Conor, that's the last matchup you want, I think. Mm-hmm. If I'm Conor, who do you want if you're Conor right now? I'll tell you what I want.
Go on.
I want Justin Gaethje. I have to train for these leg kicks. Yeah. Because I'm going to have to come up against that again at some point. I'm going to have to train for these leg kicks. Yeah. I can hit Justin Gaethje. That's what I would think. Yeah. He's hittable. I can hit him. And if he believes in his power, which people are questioning, I think Conor will believe in it. I think Conor will fancy Justin Gaethje because it's a name that gets him back where he wants to go. And I think he'll look at him and think, I can beat him if I have to. There's things I've got to pick up on, i.e. leg kicks, take down defense. But if I work on that, it helps me down the line. Yeah. So it might not be it might not be that soon. It might be be like May, because he might say, I'll fight a top guy. I'll fight Gaethje. He's real tough. Give me time and I'll do it. And then if I beat him, then I get Poirier or Diaz.
I think he could beat Tony Ferguson.
I think he beats Tony Ferguson.
Yeah. And Diaz. If I was him, I would go for Diaz.
Diaz.
Only because of the mental thing that I know it's 1-1. He's beat you, but you've beat him. Yeah. And right now, Conor needs that. Yeah. Remember, you beat him. You can beat him.
There is the element that I just don't like that fight now. I think that fight needs to be on a bigger stage. Yeah. Which this can't be. Yeah. How can you justify? I know it's Conor and Nate, but how can you justify putting that as a headliner of a a pay-per-view and it's
Yeah.
not for anything.
Yeah.
When the people aren't even in the top 5 of the division.
Yeah.
It's hard to justify.
Yeah.
We could talk all day about this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Unless somebody pulls out.
Yeah, unless someone pulls out of
Or
and
don't fight.
they come in and save the day, save the pay-per-view, whatever. There's so many scenarios, and basically to answer our question, we have no fucking clue.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
But I'm very excited to find out because it's very interesting.
One thing I want to just quickly finish on.
Oh, yeah.
Prediction of the weekend. Paige Van Zandt loses her bare knuckle debut.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Oh, a poor face.
I know.
Especially makes the money. Oh,
She'll lose.
Jesus.
She's not a boxer.
No.
She's not good at boxing.
No.
Like, I'm not having it.
No,
I'm not
I
having it.
agree. I think unless I don't know anything about her opponent. No. Unless she's like.
She's got a few knockout wins, I think, this opponent.
Oh Jesus!
But she's fought like Bet Rawlings. She's a boxer, but she's a boxer.
Oh my God.
And Paige Van Zandt's known for her
right.
knees, elbows, and Instagram.
Everything but.
But not hands.
Yeah, right.
So.
Oh God! I'll also mention that there's rumours of UFC Singapore as well.
Is there?
It's maybe end of April, headlined by Whaley and Rose. Is what we're talking about?
Been saying it.
I think we'll see some Oceania, some Anzac fighters on there. Two Abbasas in camp, I heard, in Dubai. Dan Hooker might want to turn around quick, resurrect his career a little bit.
Zhang Li.
You'll have Jing Li.
Yeah, the fellow that beat Ponzinibbio,
That fella.
and Yan Xiaonan.
They'll have all the lads out. All the lads will be on this card. Singapore, apparently it's going to be the end of April. Quick turnaround, but I reckon they'll fill it with the Anzacs and Anzac up-and-comers, Asian up-and-comers. Korean Zombie might be on there. They'll have signed a bunch of new people to start the prelims with. Singapore, keep your eye out for it. I think it's going to be the end of April, possibly pay-per-view. Whaley Rose. And on that note, we'll call it. Thanks very much for tuning in. Appreciate it as always. Hit like, subscribe, all that palaver, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. See you next week.